تخلیق پہ خالق تخلیق پہ خالق نے کیا مجھ کو مقرر حیدر ہوں میں حیدر حیدر ہوں میں حیدر یا علی مولا مولا یا علی مولا یا علی مولا مولا یا علی مولا یا علی مولا مولا یا علی مولا صلوات یا علی جزاک اللہ علی بھائی انشاءاللہ একটু গল্প রাজা ভাই একটু গল্প পেছেন মাকাবত আল্লাহ তাআলা মুহাম্মদ ওয়া আলি মুহাম্মদ
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. آپ سب کو جشن مولا امیر المومنین بہت بہت مبارک ہو. تیری مسند پہ غیروں کو بٹھلا دیا وارث مصطفیٰ مظہر کبریا تو ولیو وسیع ولی رہا منزلت میں تیری کیا کمی آ گئی اترے ہیں آج قبلہ و کعبہ زمین پر اترے ہیں آج قبلہ و کعبہ زمین پر ارے کیسے رہے دماغ کیسے رہے دماغ زمین کا زمین پر اترے ہیں آج قبلہ و کعبہ زمین پر گر مرتضیٰ کا گھر نہیں ہوتا زمین پر گر مرتضیٰ کا گھر نہیں ہوتا زمین پر باقی نہ رہتا خانہ باقی نہ رہتا خانہ کعبہ زمین پر اترے ہیں آج قبلہ و کعبہ زمین پر. شعر ملاحظہ فرمائیے گا. رکھے تھے اس پہ مولا علی نے کبھی قدم رکھے تھے اس پہ مولا علی نے کبھی قدم کرتا ہوں اس لیے بھی کرتا ہوں اس لیے بھی میں سجدہ زمین پر اترے ہیں آج قبلہ و کعبہ زمین پر اترے ہیں آج قبلہ و کعبہ زمین پر بیکار ہے یہ اس کو جہنم میں بھیج دو بیکار ہے یہ اس کو جہنم میں بھیج دو ایک بوجھ ہے یہ دشمن ایک بوجھ ہے یہ دشمن زہرا زمین پر اترے ہیں آج قبلہ و کعبہ زمین پر ور محمد و آل محمد صلوات.
Jazakallah Rajab bhai. I would like to call upon Abul bhai to come and present his manqabah with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
ایک اور صلوات پڑھنا ہے. علی کے ذکر کی، علی کے ذکر کی محفل سجائے، جس کا جی چاہے. علی کے ذکر کی محفل سجائے، جس کا جی چاہے. کمائے خلد جتنی جی میں آئے، جس کا جی چاہے. کرے ماتم ابھارے نقش ماتم کے سرے سینہ، کرے ماتم ابھارے نقش ماتم کے سرے سینہ. خود اپنے ہاتھ سے سورج بنائے، جس کا جی چاہے. علی کے ذکر کی محفل سجائے، جس کا جی چاہے. جو ہوگا مرد خیبر میں علم پائے گا کل وہی. جو ہوگا مرد خیبر میں علم پائے گا کل وہی. نبی تو کہہ چکے، نبی تو کہہ چکے، اب تل ملائے، جس کا جی چاہے. بے شک علم عباس کا عالی نسب انسان اٹھاتے ہیں. علم عباس کا عالی نسب انسان اٹھاتے ہیں. یہ وہ پرچم نہیں، یہ وہ پرچم نہیں آئے اٹھائے، جس کا جی چاہے. علی کا، علی کے نام کا نعرہ لگا کر چہرے پر پڑھ کے، یا علی کے نام کا نعرہ لگا کر چہرے پر پڑھ کر، سرے محفل نسب نامے سنائے، جس کا جی چاہے. کیا ہے خلق جس نے آگ کو اس کی اجازت ہے. کیا ہے خلق جس نے آگ کو اس کی اجازت ہے. علی کے دشمنوں کا جی جلائے جس کا جی چاہے لہو پاکیزہ ہوگا جان چھٹ جائے گی ہر غم سے لہو پاکیزہ ہوگا جان چھٹ جائے گی ہر غم سے عزاداری کا نسخہ آزمائے جس کا جی چاہے ارے نجف ہے یہ نکل باہر یہ وہ بستی نہیں واعظ نجف ہے یہ نکل باہر یہ وہ بستی نہیں واعظ چلائے جہاں پر منہ اٹھائے جس کا جی چاہے ولا کے نور میں گوہر کی طرح غسل فرما کر ولا کے نور میں گوہر کی طرح غسل فرما کر صدا سورج کی طرح جگمگائے جس کا جی چاہے علی کے ذکر کی محفل سجائے جس کا جی چاہے بل محمد وآل محمد صلوات
اور محمد وآل محمد صلوات وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم برائے خوشنودی امام زمانہ باواز بلندتر صلوات اللہم صل علی محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم
ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں حیدر دوسرا ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں حیدر دوسرا ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں حیدر دوسرا مل نہیں پایا انہیں مل نہیں پایا انہیں اب تک قلندر دوسرا ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں حیدر دوسرا ہے کہاں جبریل جو رضوان لایا ہے لباس ہے کہاں جبریل جو رضوان لایا ہے لباس کیا علی نے رکھ لیا ہے گھر میں نوکر دوسرا ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں حیدر دوسرا ہم تمہیں دکھلائیں گے یوسف علی کی آل میں ہم تمہیں دکھلائیں گے یوسف علی کی آل میں تم نہ دکھلا پاؤ گے نبیوں میں اکبر دوسرا ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں حیدر دوسرا اس کو مارا ہے علی نے یہ علی کا کام ہے اس کس کو مارا ہے
علی نے یہ علی کا کام ہے
دیکھ لو ہے پہلے ہی سے
کے برابر دوسرا
نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں ہے در دوسرا لے تو آئے ہیں سقیفہ وال رہبر دوسرا
لے تو آئے ہیں سقیفہ وال رہبر دوسرا
لائیں گے لیکن کہاں سے
کم کا ممبر دوسرا
ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں ہے در دوسرا عام دروازے سے جائیں کیوں قواش کبریا عام دروازے سے جائیں کیوں قواش کبریا ہوگا کعبے میں علی کے واسطے در دوسرا ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو دنیا میں ہے در دوسرا ڈھونڈنے نکلے تھے جو ہے یہاں میں ہے در دوسرا
اور محمد و آل محمد صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد دیکھ کر می سمو
دیکھ کر بھی مسلمان کو کہتے ہیں نظر
ایسے ہوتے
ہیں علی کے نوکر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نوکر
ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے
وقت پر وقت کی رفتار بدل دیتے ہیں فطرت خنجر و تلوار بدل دیتے ہیں دار پر لہجہ گفتار بدل دیتے ہیں زیر خنجر بھی صدا دیتا ہے حیدر حیدر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نوکر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نوکر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے تم نے مولا کے محبت کا نظارہ دیکھا لشکر کفر زیادہ تھا مگر ہار گیا چند افراد نے لبنان کا نقشہ بدلا بھاگنے والے ذرا دیکھو تو پیچھے مڑ کر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نوکر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نوکر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے عشق حیدر کی یہ تبلیغ کیا کرتے ہیں ایسے دیوانے دانائی عطا کرتے ہیں عقل والے انہیں بہلول کہاں کرتے ہیں ہاں مٹی سے بنا دیتے ہیں یہ خلد کے گھر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نوکر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نوکر ایسے ہوتے ہیں علی کے نعرے حیدری اور آخر میں I would like to request Dr. Saab to come and present his manqabat Talat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Dr. Saab, bismillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Dr. Saab, bismillah. Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala
صلوات پڑھیں سفر معراج کا گولا مکاں ہے سفر معراج کا گولا مکاں ہے علی کی ذات کا چرچا وہاں ہے عجب اس خلق میں ایسا بشر ہے، خدا کا ہاتھ، آنکھیں اور زباں ہے۔ حب علی جو دل میں مچل کر ہو موجزن، حب علی جو دل میں مچل کر ہو موجزن، پاس آئے گا خوف نہ پھر کوئی بھی حزن، پھسلے گا پھر صراط سے نہ ایک بھی قدم، نعرہ علی کا مار کے جائیں گے دم بدم۔ یہ ولادت شیر خدا پہ میں قصیدہ سا پڑھتا ہوں۔ ہوائے خوشگوار ہے، فضائے گل عذار ہے، زمین چمن بدست ہے، فلک ستارہ بار ہے، ز فرش تا بعرش ایک تار سیم تار ہے، عرب پہ بھی بہار ہے، عجم پہ بھی بہار ہے، جہت جہت شباب ہے، خروش ہے، امنگ ہے، نفس سرود چنگ ہے، نظر ہجوم میں رنگ ہے، غبار ریگزار میں نکھر رہی ہے روشنی، غبار ریگزار میں نکھر رہی ہے روشنی، سنور رہی ہے زندگی، بکھر رہی ہے روشنی، نبی کے بعد آج پھر اتر رہی ہے روشنی، حرم کی گود روشنی سے بھر رہی ہے روشنی، وہ سیل رنگ جس کی لہر لہر موج نور ہے، وہ نور جس کی ایک ایک کرن چراغ طور ہے، چمک اٹھے ہیں راستے تجلیاں لیے ہوئے، دھمک رہی ہیں منزلیں تسلیاں لیے ہوئے، حیات و ممکنات کے نئے جہاں لیے ہوئے، زمین اپنی کف پہ ساتھ آسمان لیے ہوئے، یمین آفتاب ہے، یسار آفتاب ہے، کہ آج اس زمین پر ورود بوتراب ہے، نذیر جس کا فعل ہے، بشیر جس کی بات بھی، جمیل جس کی زندگی، نجیب جس کی ذات بھی، فقیر راہ نشین بھی، امیر کائنات بھی، مفسر کتاب بھی، مبشر نجات بھی، غنیم چار سو مگر ڈٹا ہوا اصول پر، مدام کار بند راہ اسوہ رسول پر، وہ نور جس کی ایک جھلک جبین مہر و ماہ میں، حضور تو حضور ہے، غیاب بھی نگاہ میں، حیات بھی پناہ میں، نجات بھی پناہ میں، ابد بھی دستگاہ میں، ازل بھی گرد راہ میں، جو اس کے آستان کی روشنی سے بہرہ مند ہے، وہ خاک مرتبے میں آسمان سے بھی بلند ہے، ندیم بردبار بھی، زعیم بختیار بھی، وفا میں نامدار بھی، وغا میں کامگار بھی، غموں کا چارہ ساز بھی، دکھوں میں غم گسار بھی، ضمیر تو خلوص سے کبھی اسے پکار بھی، وہ لاجواب سلو میں، وہ کامیاب جنگ میں، زمانہ آزما چکا اسے ہزار رنگ میں، صلوات پڑھیں مولانا۔ دو تین اور دو اشعار اور پڑھ دیتا ہوں۔ ہر ادا میں خوب تر محبوب تر خوش تر علی، ہر ادا میں خوب تر محبوب تر خوش تر علی، حوض کوثر پر علی، دوش پیمبر پر علی، عرصۂ تفسیر ہو تو شار شر رسول، بازی شمشیر ہو تو فاتح خیبر علی، کم سنی میں بھی رسالت کی صداقت کا گواہ تھا، ازل سے محرم آئین پیمبر علی، جان ترازو دل نوازو دستگیرو درکشا، خلق کا آقا علی، مولا علی یاور علی، سیل جود ابر بخشش مرتب غنتر فگن، سیل جود ابر بخشش مرحب غنتر مغن، وہ جری صفدر علی ہے وہ سخی سرور علی، گھر لٹانے کی ضرورت ہو تو بیت بوتراب، سر کٹانے کا تقاضا ہو تو قرابر علی، جز امامت کون سمجھے گا رسالت کا مقام، نور کا مصدر محمد حاصل مصدر علی، بت شکن مولود کعبہ راکب دوش رسول، تربیت گاہ امامت جس کی آغوش رسول، شمع حق کا پاسباں راہ طریقت کا امام، روشنی جس کی بصیرت زندگی جس کا کلام، نور کا مینار باطل کی شب سیال میں، نقش رخشندہ ہیں جس کے ریگے ماہ و سال میں، دست گیرو درکشا خیبر فگن مرحب شکار، لا فتح الا علی لا سیف الا ذوالفقار، جس کے سر پر سایہ دامان فیضان رسول، نطق جس کا ترجمان نس قرآن رسول، شمع حق کا پاسباں راہ طریقت کا امام، روشنی جس کی بصیرت زندگی جس کا کلام، صلوات۔
Jazakallah, Dr. Saab. Inshallah, without further ado, I would like to call upon Hajj Muhammad Abbas to come and present his lecture with alawat salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صل على آل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. My respected elders, respected brothers, I don't think we have any sisters. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A lot of Mubarakis and Khushali Mubarak to all of us on this very auspicious occasion. And on this occasion we say, Alhamdulillahi alladhi ja'alana min al-mutamassikina biwilayati Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajum. This is indeed a great blessing that we have, and we pass our heartiest and heartfelt congratulations also to our present holy Imam, Imam al-Hujjah ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajum. Now I had prepared a big meal for today, but I think I'll have to serve only half of it because of the time. But just as the starters, I would like to present one hadith. Everyone has been presenting a hadith. I want to present one hadith. And that hadith is about the reality of a gathering where the virtues of Imam Ali alayhi salam are mentioned. So this is a hadith that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is mentioning. He says that no group of people mention the fada'il of Ali ibn Abi Talib except that some angels come and descend on that gathering. When this gathering disperses, the angels ascend to heaven, where other angels say to them, "Wow, we smell a scent, a fragrance from you that we have never ever smelled from any other angels." They say, "Indeed, we were with a group of people mentioning the virtues of Muhammad and his family." Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this group of angels tells the other, "Take us down to earth so that we too can join them." But the angels say that this group has already dispersed. They've already gone home. So the angels of heaven say, "Then take us to that place where they had assembled to mention the fada'il of Ali ibn Abi Talib so that we can perfume ourselves with that fragrance." Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. Now, one of the reasons I mentioned this hadith is we want to keep the angels here as long as possible. So the talk needs to go for as long as possible. Dhikru aliyin ibadah. Inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Me giving a talk without PowerPoints is like driving without side mirrors. Inshallah, at our own risk, inshallah. Anyway, the topic, inshallah, for tonight that I'd like to share with you, respected brothers, is titled Imam Ali alayhi salam. Whose Imam is he? Of course, the answer to this question is very simple. But we're not only referring to this answer from a theological, aqaidi point of view, but we want to look at it from a practical point of view as well. We say that Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, I think it's almost there. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. Okay, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraj. Sorry, we'll just try and do this so that we can drive with the mirrors. extend. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Anyway, inshallah, so the topic is Imam Ali alayhi salam, who's Imam. Is he in the sense that, from a practical point of view, so we say that Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam is our leader, and we are the Shia of Imam Ali alayhi salam, meaning we are the followers of Imam Ali alayhi salam. We want to know today that who is Imam leading and who are we following? Leadership and fellowship has to have a relationship, has to have some compatibility between the followers and the leader. If there is no compatibility between the followers and the leader, that relationship ceases to exist. So, how do we answer this question? We want to look at three aspects of the life of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam to be able to answer this question. Whose Imam is Imam Ali alayhi salam? First things first, my respected brothers, we have is Imamul Musallin. He is the Imam of those who pray, the leader of those who are engaged in prayers, the guide of those who have salah in their daily routine. If I take Imam Ali alayhi salam as my leader, I'm a Shi'i of Amirul Mu'mineen, there must be some resemblance between Imam Ali alayhi salam's attachment to salah and my attachment to salah. This beautiful ayah in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Fath, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Muhammadun Rasulullah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ. Those who are with the Holy Prophet are very harsh when it comes to the enemies, but very kind and gentle and compassionate when it comes to the mu'mineen. Then, this is the part that we're interested in. Tarahum, you see these individuals who are around the Prophet, you see them rukka'an, sujjadan, constantly in a state of ruku', constantly in a state of sujood. يَبْتَغُونَ فَضْلًا مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانًا. They are seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ مِنْ أَثَرِ السُّجُودِ. When you look at these individuals, you can see the mark of sujood on their faces. Imam Kadhim alayhi salam says that the best example of this particular ayah is Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And in the Holy Quran, as we know, any virtue that we have, any virtue that we come across in the Holy Quran, the first and the finest example of that virtue is none other than Imam Ali alayhi salam after Rasulullah. So this ayah praising those who are with the Prophets, engaged in ruku and sujood, are Imam Ali alayhi salam. Now, two aspects very quickly, I'm going very quickly. Imamul Musallin, the Imam of those who pray. Two aspects of Imam Ali alayhi salam's attachment towards Salah. Number one is the punctuality that Imam Ali alayhi salam maintained in his Salah. And secondly is the presence of heart of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen in his Salah. Now, let's look at very quickly. Punctuality. In the Battle of Siffin, the report says when the battle was at its peak, at the midst, when the battle was the most intense, Ibn Abbas was standing next to Amirul Mu'mineen. He constantly sees Imam Ali alayhi salam looking up at the sky, looking up at the sun, constantly. Ibn Abbas asks Amirul Mu'mineen, Ya Ali, what are you looking up for? He says, I'm waiting for the sun to decline so that we know when the time for Dhuhr sets in. Ibn Abbas says, is this the right time to be praying when the arrows that are going around? Imam Ali alayhi salam says that what are we fighting for if it's not to protect Salah? My respected brothers and sisters, Imamul Musallin, the leader of those who pray. I am a Shi'i of Amirul Mu'mineen. Question, how much semblance, how much resemblance is there in terms of punctuality in my life when it comes to Salah and that of my Imam? That's the first aspect. Second aspect, when it comes to the presence of heart of Amirul Mu'mineen, look at the quality of the Salah of Imamul Musallin. The quality of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Muawiyah, in a very ridiculing way, asks a person by the name of Durar ibn Dhamara. He says, Sifli, describe to me Amirul Mu'mineen, in a very ridiculing way, as if trying to taunt and mock Imam Ali alayhi salam. Describe to me what you saw of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Look what this person says. He says, I witness that I have seen him at night when the night had spread its veil, standing in his place of prayer, قابض على لحيته, holding on to his beard, يتململ تململ السليم, he was holding on to his beard, wailing and crying like an ill person. ويبكي بكاء الحزين, Amirul Mu'mineen, the one who was ferocious on the battlefield, the one that would scare the enemies, when he would stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would be trembling and shaking. وَيَبْكِي بُكَاءَ الْحَزِينَ, and he would be crying in grief. وَيَقُول, and he used to say, min qillati الزَّاد, how little is the provision of Ali. وَبُعْدِ السَّفَرِ, and how long is the journey ahead. وَوَحْشَةِ الطَّرِيقِ, and this journey of the hereafter, how lonely it is going to be for Ali. Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam states when he stands before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his salah, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala wa ali Muhammad. The presence of heart of Imam Ali alayhi salam in his salah. We know this story that when a lance or an arrow gets into the foot of Imam Ali alayhi salam, it was excruciating for anyone to take this lance out of the foot. They go to Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha seeking a solution. Fatima al-Zahra says, you will only be successful when Imam Ali alayhi salam is in communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As soon as Amirul Mu'mineen gets into the intimate conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oblivious of everything around him, they take the arrow from Ali's foot, and Imam Ali alayhi salam has he doesn't notice it. Lost in communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Totally oblivious. Presence of heart of Imam Ali alayhi salam. There was once that Rasulullah made a competition. He said that I'm going to challenge my companions to recite a 2 rak'ah salah with total concentration in their salah, no distractions. And the reward of it is going to be one of these 2 camels that I've been gifted. So who's going to participate in this? They saw Amirul Mu'mineen was part of the group, so no one dared to compete with Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, I will do it. Amirul Mu'mineen starts his salah, 2 rak'ah salah. When Imam Ali alayhi salam was finishing his salah, Jibreel comes to the Holy Prophet and says, gift one of these camels to Imam Ali alayhi salam. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, hold on a second. When he was in his tashahhud, he was thinking about which camel he wants. Jibreel said the reason why he was thinking, he was deciding which of the one is fatter so he can give it in sadaqah. This thought is a thought related to God. Rasulullah weeps, gives both the camels to Imam Ali alayhi salam. Amirul Mu'mineen slaughters the 2 camels and gives it out in sadaqah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraju. My respected brothers, the point and sisters now, the point that we are making here is this is Imam al-Musallin, the Imam of those who pray, the leader of those who pray. We are the followers of this Imam. There must be some resemblance, some semblance, some compatibility between how Imam Ali alayhi salam was considering his salah and how we consider his salah. Second, inshallah, I will probably have one more, but I said I'll serve a half meal. So we'll just talk about one more aspect, inshallah. And that is Imam. Whose Imam is he? Imamul Mutasaddiqeen. The Imam of those who are charitable. Salah is the relationship of an individual with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zakat is the relationship that we have with the people around us. In the Quran, we always find Salah and Zakat constantly paired and coupled together. No one can say that I take my salah very seriously, but I'm not very fond of zakat. No. Or one says, I'm very charitable, I'm really good at giving charity, but I don't feel very good with salah. These are like two wings of a bird. The bird cannot fly with just one wing. So, Imamul Mutasaddiqeen. How did Imam Ali alayhi salam use his finances? Now, to be able to appreciate, my respected brothers and sisters, the value of the charitability of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, I need to mention a few terms in Arabic. Please bear with me. The first one, and I thought we had the slides. Sorry, don't have the slides. The first one is al-infaq. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Infaq means spending a part of what Allah has given us for others. So, 20% of khums, I have to pay from whatever is left of my savings. This is called infaq. Someone knocks on my door and says, brother, I need $200. I say, brother, no worries, $200, this is for you. This is called infaq. It's very meritorious, it is very virtuous, it is very commendable. But infaq is when someone shows his need to us. He knocks on my door and then I give. That is infaq, number one. Number two about infaq is you give as much as the individual needs. You don't give any more than what he needs. This is infaq. Please stay with me. Above and beyond that, the next level in the Quran we have as-sakha, which is in Arabic for generosity. What is generosity? How do we explain it? You don't wait for someone to knock on the door. You go to the house of that individual. How are you doing? You need $200? No, I'll give you $500. This is sakha. This is generosity. And we see this in the life of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam throughout. Ahlul Bayt always gave more than what people would need. Hatim al-Tai, as we know, Hatim al-Tai was an idol worshipper. His son Adi was a close companion of Imam Ali alayhi salam. The Holy Prophet says to Adi, he says that your father died an idol worshipper, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected him from the punishment of the hellfire because of his sakhawa, because of his generosity. If this is the effect that generosity has on an idol worshipper, what does it do to a mu'min? This is being generous. Imam Ali alayhi salam, it is said, throughout his life would dig several wells, thousands of wells, certain reports, Imam would say, working hard. There were no bobcats at the time. And it wasn't in a land where water was easily available. This was in a desert. Amirul Mu'mineen would dig numerous wells. What for? Personal investments? No. We would dedicate this well to that widow, this well to that orphan, this well to that village. Everything in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The generosity of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So the first step we have is al-infaq. Second is we have as-sakha. Now, when we look at what the the scientists in ethics have written, they seem to be understanding the theory behind these two. Anything above and beyond this, they can't seem to comprehend it. What is that? In the Quran we have al-muwasat. It is where an individual shares equally whatever he possesses with others. He splits his possessions into half, his wealth into half, keeps half for himself, gives half to others. It is narrated, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, Umma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. 2 or 3 times Imam Hassan alayhi salam in his life split his wealth in 2 halves. 1 half for himself, 1 half for the sake of God. Imam was so meticulous in splitting this wealth that the companions exaggerate and say that even if he had a pair of shoes, it is as if he kept 1 shoe for himself, 1 shoe for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as an exaggeration. Splitting. Imagine, respected brothers and sisters, every fortnightly we get our pay slip. Let's try and imagine this. Talking about it is one thing, bring it in practice. I get my pay slip, the tax office has taken its stuff. I say, Ya Allah, I am splitting this wealth into half. half comes for me and my family, the other half, Ya Allah, for your sake. Constantly, this is my habit in my life. This is muwasat. Absolute detachment from what I own. But no, the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam don't stop here. They go one step further in the Quran. Al-Ithar, that's the fourth step. Al-Ithar is when I need something and you need something, but I prefer you over myself. This is the default quality of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Once in the mosque, maybe after Jama'ah prayers, Prophet ﷺ announces to the community that this one brother who has come very hungry. Which one of you will volunteer to host him in your house? Everyone was quiet, maybe fearing what their wives would say. Imam Ali alayhi salam raises his hand, having a wife like Fatima Zahra salamullah alayhi. Imam says, I will take him home. Imam alayhi salam goes home, maybe goes into the kitchen and says to Fatima Zahra, we have a guest and there's hardly any food around. Imam Ali alayhi salam says to Sayyidah Fatima, just serve whatever we have. Imam sits with this hungry, poor person and says, do you mind if we don't have a candle on? The poor man says, I don't worry about candle. I'm just worried about feeding my stomach. He finished eating. The man was very happy and he left. The next morning, Rasulullah says to Amirul Mu'mineen, what did you do? Imam says, I invited this person home and I fed him with whatever little we had. I needed the food. My family needed the food. This random individual needed the food. Imam Ali prefers that person over himself. What did you do? Prophet ﷺ says that I had a revelation of Quran. This ayah in Surah Al-Fath, in Surah Al-Hashr. I hope I have the ayah. Yes, this is the ayah in Surah Al-Hashr. Prophet ﷺ tells Imam Ali, this was an ayah that was revealed to me overnight after what you did. وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ. There are those individuals who prefer others over themselves. وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةً. Even though they needed whatever they gave for others. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Ali Muhammad wa ajil faraj. So my respected brothers and sisters, al-infaq is generosity level 1. What comes below generosity? What is a level under that? Unfortunately, it is bakhil, bukhl, miser, where I cannot sacrifice what I have for others. There's a nice story where a person walks out of a bakery with nice fresh bread. There's a poor man sitting next to on the road, hungry man, crying. So this person holding the bread comes and sits with this guy who is hungry and also starts crying. So this poor hungry man looks at this guy and says, why are you crying? He said, I sympathize with your situation. He says, there's no need to sympathize, just give me your bread. The guy says, nah, I'll cry with you, but I will not give you my bread. So this is a story, my respected brothers and sisters, that alhamdulillah, it's a funny story we laugh about. Question. What are those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs us to sacrifice? But we tell, Ya Allah, this time of my week, please, Ya Allah, this is too precious. This amount of money, Ya Allah, it is saved from my investments. I will do anything else for you, Ya Allah. I will come and cry for Imam Ali alayhi salam. But this money, Ya Allah, please don't ask me to. So, inshallah, we are not like that. We are the Shia of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi. Al-Infaq, number 1. As-Sakha, number 2. Al-Muwasat, number 3. And the Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salam, Al-Ithar. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali. There was a third point that I wanted to discuss, but I need permission from you. I will not take much of your time. If, inshallah, there is permission, inshallah, for next 5 minutes, a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ahsantum, inshallah. Thank you very much. And the third point, my respected brothers and sisters, in answering the question, whose Imam is Imam Ali alayhi salam? The third one we have is Imamul Adilin, the Imam of those who love justice. Let's look at some of the examples. Imam Ali alayhi salam says in Nahjul Balagha, by Allah, were I given all the 7 heavens and all that they contain, in order that I may disobey God by depriving an ant from a grain of barley, I would not do it. You will not get this level of injustice from Amirul Mu'minin, Imam al-Adilin. Some of the examples. 2 men come and discuss government affairs with Imam Ali whilst he was the caliph during his khilafah. They come and discuss the government affairs. There was a lamp that was on. Immediately they finish their government talks. Imam Ali switches that lamp off, brings another lamp from inside the room and turns it on. The 2 men asking Imam Ali Ajib, why did you do this? What's the difference? Imam Ali says that first lamp was being run by public treasury. You came to discuss government affairs, that was the light for government affairs. The moment you switch to personal affairs, Ali brings his own lamp so that he is not eating into Baytul Mal. Aqil, one of the brothers of Imam Ali step-brothers, was older than Imam Ali. He was in a very dire financial situation. He comes to Imam Ali whilst he was the caliph. Oh Imam, please give me a loan from Baytul Mal. Imam Ali says, me taking out money from Baytul Mal is tantamount to you and I walking down the streets in Medina and stealing from people's houses. Don't ask me to do that. If at all you want something from Ali, I will give you half of my salary, I'll give you. Aqil said, Amir, what is your salary? It's not going to do anything to me. But Imam Ali says, don't talk to me about touching the public treasury. Imam al-Adilin. And the final point. How sensitive that Imam Ali was to any level of injustice. When Imam Ali was the caliph, there was a group of bandits in one of the suburbs or another distant outskirts of Medina. They had come into this city and they had stormed into a Christian woman's house and looted her jewelry. Then they went into a Muslim woman's house and looted their jewelry. Imam Ali got the news of this act of aggression, this act of violence. Look at what Imam Ali says. My respected brothers and sisters, this is perhaps the loudest message from the talk today. Imam Ali says, and this is in Nahjul Balagha. Imam says, by Allah, should a Muslim person die out of agony and pain from this news? What was the news? People had gone and stolen jewelry from a Christian woman's house. People had this same group had stolen jewelry from a Muslim woman's house. This level of injustice, Imam Ali says that should a Muslim person die out of agony and pain from listening to this news, on hearing this news, I would not be surprised. I would not blame that individual. In fact, in the eyes of Ali, this death is admirable. A message for you and I, my respected brothers. Imam al-Adilin, the Imam of those who love justice. Question: how much does the oppression that goes around the world, first to our own Shia brothers and then to the global community, how much does it disturb my peace? How much am I sensitive to the oppression committed to others? It is, inshallah, food for thought. Inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the right of this holy night, that we can increase our ma'rifah for Imam Ali alayhi salam, and inshallah we can be inspired by this beautiful lifestyle of Imam Ali alayhi salam and walk in the footsteps of our leader. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.